So we're going to talk specifically about an example, and I'm going to try to rush. If you have to leave, I apologize to you, but I'm going to try to rush through this, but still give you some content because we're getting into specifics on a case. This is Tom Jackson. Tom Jackson, this is what his original website looked at. Tom is Tom works with artists on their shows. He helps them put their shows together, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this as we go. But he had a very dry corporate side. I've known Tom. He's actually worked with my wife. Tom put Taylor Swift's tour together this last year. He's worked with Taylor for a couple of years. Jordan Sparks personally attributes her ability to do what she did with American Idol to Tom Jackson. He's worked with Jars of Clay, Rush of Fools, countless bands over a 20-year period of time. And Tom speaks to literally tens of thousands of artists at music events and things like that. We just got back from doing the New York New Music Seminar. It was on stage with Little Steven from Bruce Springsteen's group, and Just Blaze, the producer, and the chief editor of Billboard magazine. And Tom he's one of the few fellows in the music business, and for those of you that have any proximity to the music business, this will be relevant to you. He's one of the few people in the music business that says, you know what, you can do it. Because everybody else is saying, go home, don't waste your time. And he really can. However, his website never communicated who he was. And Tom had a problem. He was only as good as last night's appearance. Sound familiar for those of you that work with artists? Only as good. I'm only as good as yesterday's presentation, yesterday's sales pitch, yesterday's whatever, because as soon as you walk out of the room, what walks with you? Everything you got goes right out the room. So he had this massive problem. So we developed his blue ocean strategy. Tom had a problem. He was perceived to be a performance coach. Well, a performance coach, first off, nobody really knew what that was, and if you did, they thought, artists particularly, who love to be told what to do, thought, well, he's going to come in and tell me how to, walk around on stage, and I'm going to look robotic, and I'm going to look stupid, and that's not going to work. And Tom, literally, in television interviews, I saw him on Canadian national television sit there and say, to the question of, what do you do? His response was, I can't tell you what I do, I can tell you what I don't do. And he would go into a litany, laundry list of what he didn't do. I don't do choreography, I don't do this. I said, Tom, you're confusing people. So, he was a performance coach. He worked in a declining music industry. He had a static website. He only did live events. He had a single product offering that he sold. He was single source of income through that product and his teaching. And he discounted event pricing because it was always, you can get it for 50 off. Well, guess what? You couldn't get it anyplace else. You could only get it there. It was always 50 off. Broke the value quotient. We came back and designed his blue ocean strategy around. And by the way, guys, this took some time to get his narrative written, then shape the narrative, then bring the tagline out. He was a live music producer. I said, Tom, you're a live music producer. And I'd worked with him. He worked for artists with my record label. I didn't come up with this until we focused in and did the blue ocean strategy narrative approach. I said, Tom, you're a live music producer. He is now in the growing indie artist market because he works with artists on their live show, and it really doesn't matter whether they ever get a record deal. He's got a guy he just worked with. He did 2-3 days of hands-on rehearsal with this guy, helped this guy revamp his show because Tom shows people how to make moments with their shows. The guy went off and played the college group that buys talent for all the college university music tour circuit, and the guy landed $150,000 in bookings off of 3 days. Was that money well spent? I think so. We went from a static site to a very active story. Tom is constantly flowing new content. Now, this was a guy, when I first sat down and said we're going to do a flow of content, he said, I don't blog, and I'm not going to blog. He now is blogging ahead of us. We have more content to deal with than he's providing us, that we have time to put out. He now runs 24/7 online, so he's now transcended what he was doing live. He has a diversified product line, diversified income sources, and we've established price integrity. Remember the value quotient that we talked about in the Blue Ocean Strategy? And I'm going to discuss some of that with you. So we now have a positioning side that says, what's a live music producer? A live music producer works with artists on their live show like a record producer works in the studio on a CD. Tom can now say that one sentence, and everybody goes, I got it. I know what you do now. And I'm going to tell you, it took us almost 6 months to get to that, to take the vast, I used to tell Tom, I said, Tom, your problem is you give people sips of water off a fire hydrant. We got to make this to where they can sip the water. And we now got it down to this, and everybody gets it. He uses this in radio interviews and things like that. And now we've got it down to a really simple little thing. This is now his business card. Live music lives. And then it brings back to this entire narrative and this entire story. So what we did was we developed the story of the live music producer creating moments on stage. We have products, DVDs, and live events. We developed a channel mix of online, social networks, websites, publicity, conferences, and online sales. All of this, remember the U map? All of this comes back to his hub, his website. We don't have, if we have an initiative running out there, it's going to bring you back to the website. We're not going to wait for you to come to the website. We're going to bring you back to the website. And that's a really important element. He is an extremely high price point in this market. Everybody knows indie artists don't have a dime, right? They can never afford anything, and they don't have the money to do it. He runs $28.50 a day for a live rehearsal, and the DVDs sell for $59 up to $399. So these are, you know, in an audience that is considered to be the starving artist category, he is a premium product at a premium price point.